morning. Today we are going to discuss about the entrepreneurship related topics. First of all, let us know what is entrepreneurship. This word has originated from the French word entreprendre, which means to undertake. To undertake what? Entrepreneurship is the key to innovation, productivity, and effective competition. When a person realizes his ability or capacity and makes its practical use and establishes new business unit, this activity is known as entrepreneurship. Means anybody who wishes to start a new venture. New venture could be in the form of starting a business, starting a shop, starting a factory, starting a trading unit, starting a service unit. Everything can come as entrepreneur. Say, if somebody wants to start business with share market, that's also entrepreneurship, provided you have the knowledge and ability to do it. Now, what are the motivating factors for entrepreneurship? You can ask somebody why one should start. There should be some reason why one should start a new venture. Time immemorial, people have the, the intelligence to start something new or not for better. Here we have two factors, major factors. One is the internal factor. What are the internal factors? Have a feeling to contribute to humanity by trying to solve the problems faced by the society. Just imagine in the area where one lives, a lot of garbage is there on the roadside. It's a menace. Animals come. It smells bad. Only doing about it means you can complain to the municipal authorities to rectify it, or you yourself clean it. Fine, that is not business. You have to come up with a new and interesting or innovative idea how to solve the problem. When I'm telling how to solve the problem means you can fight with people so that nobody can put the garbage there. But that is not the right way, and it's not a business. It's only trying to remove a social evil by either by force or by persuasion. But that is not entrepreneurship. You have to find opportunity in that particular problem. Okay, what can you do? Organize a team of people, collect all the garbage, or arrange for some container there. Collect these garbage from that one place to other place, convert it into energy. You can separate them. They are biologically degradable products. There are biologically non-degradable products. Separate them, and maybe some metals will be there, glass will be there, plastics will be there. Separate them independently and start using the biologically degradable product, convert it into energy. What is this? This is an innovation. Try to solve the problems faced by the society. In this, what is happening? You are producing energy. You are recycling the waste products, which is a regular phenomenon every day in our home. Some waste material will be available and we are throwing it in the garbage bin or garbage heap, what you say. And how to solve this problem? Creating a new idea, trying to implement it, convert into a business proposition, and try to get benefit out of it, not only financially, helping the society from the menace of all the bad things that can happen because of garbage heaping. Now, have an innovative idea which could change the lives of the people towards better. Do something with a passion and which is path breaking. Path breaking means you are doing something different which is not being done earlier by people, or trying to replicate it in a different format. And you have the independence of ideas and approach. You are not following the path which is people generally tread. You are trying to make a new path which will be really effective, should be effective, and it can serve the purpose. And you must have self confidence. It's the strongest thing which one should have when we start a new business. Motivating factors for entrepreneurship can be further explained. You should have a sense of accomplishment. You will be so happy that you're doing something good for the society, good for the country, good for the humanity. The other day, an interview was there with the recently, last year, 2020 Nobel laureate for chemistry. He was 90 plus. The scientist was 90 plus. And when he was interviewed, what do you feel of getting a Nobel Prize? He said, well, it's just a routine thing for me. I am happy. He has discovered something regarding lithium batteries. He was very happy that he is getting a Nobel Prize. But he said, if my work is being used by the society for a good cause, I think I have done my job. And for information, every day he goes to his lab. That is accomplishment. Of course, a person who wants to start a new venture should have educational and business background. Means you should know something about the business, not necessarily which is coming from your parents. You have to learn from others who are into business. Just go and sit with them who are into that field of business, try to understand the nuances and try to understand whether it is really feasible as far as you are concerned, because you are only going to do it. Of course, here the meaning educational means it doesn't mean that you should have the required degree to have a business. Say, if you want to start a factory, you are supposed to have a degree in engineering, or if, if you are going for a consultancy services, you are supposed to have become a chartered accountant or an MBA. That is not necessary at all. But it is better if you have it. If you have an educational background, you will be more confident in doing it. Otherwise, you have to depend for your venture on people who are technically qualified. So you have to hire them, you depend on them. Possibly, it may not work out always. Perhaps over a period of time, you can learn the thing by yourself. Have passion to do something new, different, and useful. These are all the internal factors. Now, external factors. You must have support from government and society to take the challenge. Here, one important point which we must understand. All of you might have heard about the fiasco or the problem that has faced by Tata's when they started the nano car project in Singur, West Bengal. With all zeal, they started the factory, they have made everything ready, and just before the factory started, some political party or the local people objected for its running. Of course, a giant like Tata's, they thought pros and cons, and finally they have shifted the unit from Singur, West Bengal to somewhere, I think it is Sanand in Gujarat. Of course, nano car project took off and nano cars were on the road. Here, what went wrong? You did not have the support of the society. The society, maybe the local people, maybe the political parties, maybe the other factors, other people who are there who may not allow you to start even a small unit. Say, for example, if you want to start a unit in your village, there is a procedure for that. You have to convince the local people that I am going to start this unit. This is the advantage of starting this unit here in your place because my raw material is available. I can get labor. I am having electricity arrangement. The transportation facilities are good. Water is in plenty. I can hire people, and these are all the positive factors which you are seeing as a businessman to start a unit there. Fine. Now, the question comes: people may object. They have their own fears, like it can cause pollution, air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, everything. Yes, this has to be addressed, or this has to be convinced that no, I am not going to cause any pollution to your place. They may ask what are the other advantages that we are going to have. You can simply say yes, we are going to give employment to a lot of young people here in your area. Obviously, you are trying to convince the society that you are going to start a project which has got a valid reason to be started in that particular place. That is number one. Number two, government has to support you. How? Earlier, about 20, 25, 30 years back, getting a license to start a factory, it used to take 6 months or even more, depending on the capacity and the size of the factory. You have to take permissions from various authorities, like the village administrative officer, panchayat head. Then it goes up and up, and finally, the state government has to give a permission to it. Sometimes even you may require the permission from the central government. And in this process, sometimes most of the entrepreneurs leave the process in between because they're getting so many hurdles. Everywhere you have to go, and other factors like corruption is also a major issue. Other factor like support from government means government has to give the clear licenses for you so that you can approach to the nearby bank, or the government should tell the bank to support you financially for this project. Society, the government is a part of the society. Then the local people, then the financing authorities. It can be a government finance activity, it can be a private finance activity, it can be a bank, can be a venture capitalist, whatever it is, you have to take support from every single organization and every single authority. You have to take permission from fire department. You have to take permission from pollution control department, and so on and so forth. If all the people are supporting you, then only you can start a venture. Another important factor is demand supply gap. The recent example after the advent of COVID, many factories, many institutions are closed all of them. How they kept them going? I know one tailor. He used to prepare shirts for the branded companies. Suddenly he had 10 employees They were stitching the product and giving it, and they were exporting it. Because of COVID, the business stopped. So what I asked the gentleman, how are you managing the show? How are you able to give salaries to your employees although they don't have a job? He might have got struggled. He might have struggled for some time, but later on he had decided, come on, let us turn this adversity into an opportunity. When he watched very intelligently and innovatively, he found out that masks were in short supply, and government has asked you to wear masks. He got a mask from the market of different types of masks. He found which is the mask that is moving faster. He brought the clothes and other laces and all, and gave training to his tailors how to prepare masks. These people, they started preparing masks, and now for your information, the gentleman is sending masks to England. See how challenge he has taken and he has been successful. And demand supply gap. In the initial stages in last March, April, May, June, masks were in short supply. And they used to sell one mask for even 100, 150, 200 rupees. Now what happened? Everybody started preparing masks. Now there is no demand supply gap. So what you should do, if you are an intelligent person, as an entrepreneur, try to find out a niche market where this demand supply problem is a continuous factor so that you can continuously do your business. Sometimes the vegetable vendors sell the vegetable in a very low cost because the supply is too much and there is no demand. All of you know tomatoes can be sold in 5 rupees per kilo and it can be sold at 100 rupees per kilo. There is a demand supply gap. If you can develop something innovative, not only to make money, but try to reduce this gap by allowing the continuous supply of tomatoes in the market on a regular basis, obviously there won't be any demand supply gap. But as an entrepreneur, you should always try to find means and methods to fill this gap. And while doing so, you are serving the society. You are making money, number two, and everybody gets everything whenever they want. If you are an entrepreneur interested in vegetable dealings, right? Another important where most of the entrepreneurs fail, they don't understand the availability of workforce. They may think that I can hire anybody from any place, pay them fat salaries, and make them to stay with me. Always, it may not be possible. Some local guys will be there. You have to train them because there is a demand for them for jobs, and you are creating a job. For example, why the government asks you to to establish even a small or medium or large unit in backward areas. Government has declared some areas as backward areas, and they want you to put a factory there in a backward area because you are going to increase the status of living of those people living in that particular area. For that, government may give you some stops like electricity deferral payment scheme is there by government. You can use the electricity for 1 year or 2 years, but you need not pay the money. After 2 years only, you can start paying the electric bills. Why the government is giving you this sum? Because you are putting a factory in a backward area so that the backward area can improve. Try to find out such facilities the government is giving. Other thing, Availability of raw material workforce means sometimes, some places you may not get the right type of people. Say, for example, you are going to Kanchipuram, which is a part of India, South India, Tamil Nadu, where there number of weavers are there. They produce the silk clothes. You know, Kanchipuram silk is a famous silk. People there, they are artisans who are experts in weaving. And if you want to start a weaving unit, try to search a place where you can get the right workforce, where you need not train them. They're already trained in that. And you will be saving money in the training activities. And then have an idea of doing business. Have an idea of doing business means, particularly in our country, it is not new for all of you. If you want to, as a young man, as a student, just after coming out of the college, you want to start a new business, first thing your parents will tell, no, 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 it's risky, you may lose money, business may fail, government may not help you, workforce may not be available, funds flow will not be proper, you will not be able to market your product properly, and better go for a job. And that is one of the reasons why we have got a mindset in India. After finishing your studies, you are supposed to go for a job. This lacuna in the minds of people, both parents as well as children, we are facing the toughest problem the government faces is because we don't know, we think we don't know how to do business. We don't have the guts to start it. We don't have the confidence to start it. I think we already discussed. You have to have passion and strong self-confidence. Then, so this concept, this thought process must change. We have to start we have to start telling our students, please don't try to get a job because jobs are not available down there. Try to create jobs in your own way. All that you have to do is think differently, act differently, act innovatively, and have a confidence that you can do it. And then zeal to change the society for better living. Okay. Here, after telling all these things, I must tell you certain more important points. Undertake. Undertake means it is not something you are taking from others. I am undertaking your liabilities. I am undertaking your assets. Something. It is not. Undertaking means doing something effectively. Productivity should be there, and you should be able to stand with the competition. I'll tell you an interesting thing. If you go to any street of any city or a town, you can see about 10 grocery shops very nearby to each other among themselves. You may be wondering how everybody is doing business. And if I ask you to start a business, the same business there, first thing what you will think is already there are 10 shops. There may not be enough, there may not be enough takers for me. So I don't want to start a new grocery shop there. But people do it. You might have seen hotels coming up on the roads every now and then. You may be wondering what made them to start a hotel when there are already 10 hotels available. Must be they are having an edge over others on certain things which only they know, and that could be termed as a trade secret. This trade secret means what? They are experts in a particular trade. Simple, try to change. If you are going to start a grocery shop, already there are 10. In what way you are different from others? Nowadays, we have seen almost every state, every city, or even small towns, they have departmental stores. The technique, you see, the person who is going to start a departmental store may not be very big. They can grow it in a later stage, but in a small scale also they can start. What is the difference between a departmental store and a grocery shop? Give a list to the grocery shop. In 5 minutes, you prepare everything and give it to you. Pay the money and come out. But in a department store, sometimes AC is available, sometimes AC is not available, but that's not a big deal because we are not going to stay there for quite a long time. But all the materials are displayed. You can see each material. Going to purchase a biscuit packet in a departmental store. The moment you go to that section, oh God, so many varieties of biscuits are there. What will be your thought? Why can't I try the new one? Why can't it the third one? Why can't I try the fourth one? You went with the idea of purchasing one biscuit packet and you ended up in purchasing three biscuit packets. This is the trade secret the department store owner is having. He is making you to purchase just by displaying the things to you. Number two, when you can see the product yourself, you can even examine the expiry date. The company which is producing, what is the quality? Whereas in a grocery shop, you may not be able to see all these things. You are given a list, he has made the list ready, and you are taking the material and going home. Number three, when you go along with your child, or along with your wife, or along with your husband, or along with your friend, they will suggest you, hey, this is a good product. Why don't you purchase this? You never had exposure to the new product. You even don't know how to use it because your friend has told or your relative has told. Particularly when you go to a department store with your child, you have to have a big purse with you. The children, curiosity, they will ask this, they will ask that. Of course, you are not going to satisfy everything, but definitely when you entered the shop, you never had an idea to purchase that particular item. After going there only, your mind changed. What is this? This is effective competitive strategy. Nowadays, even the department store people have come up with a new idea. You need not go. You can just online order whatever you want. They will be bringing it to your home. Delivery free. See, another important addition to your facility. Of course, there are cases when the material comes to your home and you see the list, something else has come and what was required didn't come. These mistakes do happen because in India, particularly, we are not that professional. You call him and tell, what is this? I wanted this, and you send another particular piece. Sorry, sir, tomorrow I'll give you that piece. See, this is our nature. This is we Indians about that adjustability and accommodative nature. But as far as effective competition has to be taken care, You have to take care. There is nothing, no compromise on that. You must do it. Then only you will be able to survive in the competition. This is one thing. Next, realizes his ability or capacity and makes it practical use and establishes new business unit. This activity is known as entrepreneur. Here, another thing. If you go to the history of entrepreneurs, anybody, you take Ambani, you take Bill Gates, you take Steve Jobs, or even Thomas Alva Edison. What was the driving force for them to start something which has changed the world? Only thing is, they were confident. They knew that they can do it. Not that they did not face failures. They did face failures, not once, time and again, with difficult situations. But nothing succeeds like success. After they got successful, they are number one in the world in their own field. So, when you have to start a venture, you have to have the knowledge of people, how they face the problems, how they try to solve them, and what made them so powerful or so confident. That is the most important drive, the passion. You have to have the passion of doing something new, something different. A question can be asked: is it that all the entrepreneurs were successful? No, not all the entrepreneurs were successful. Say they take the case of Ambani's. Anil Ambani is a failure, whereas Mukesh Ambani is a success. Both were sons of Dhirubhai Ambani. What went wrong with Anil Ambani? He had pretty rich background. He had business knowledge. He has plenty of money. He had connections with very high political sources in the country. He had lands. Why he failed? Where he failed? We need not worry about it. All that you have to know why he has failed. If you know it, perhaps you will not do the same mistake again. Yeah, I remember when Reliance cell phones were started, I mean that network started. I remember, I think around 94, 95, Reliance Industry came out with a novel idea that if you are taking connection, you will be getting one cell phone at 500 rupees. See, many people purchased even two, three telephones because the cell phones were so cheap. Who will give you a cell phone at 500 rupees? Many people told me at the time, why don't you purchase? I said, no, I don't think this strategy will work out. Something is going wrong badly. Capturing the market is not a bad idea. But this way, I don't think this company will survive. Of course, although I didn't have any business background, it was my gut feeling. It was my intuition. It was my it was my understanding of the realities. How can a company can give a cell phone at 500 rupees? That itself was a big doubt for me. It's not a toothpaste or toothbrush that somebody is going to give you free of cost. And all of you know history. So, over jealousness is also not good. Over enthusiasm is also not good. An entrepreneur should be cautious, should be careful, should handle things carefully, should manage the finance properly, and have an eye on the changes. Say, for example, you want to start trading business in a product which is not moving at all, just because you are having a business family who can support you. No. About 15 years back, Bajaj scooter was very famous all over India. Everybody knows. They used to say, Hamara Bajaj. What happened? Are you seeing a Bajaj today? Bajaj's son has taken over the charge and he said, no more scooters. We are going to start motorcycles. See, the young man has thought differently. He could feel the pulse of the people. The next 15, 20 years, people will not use scooters, they will be using only motorcycles. Now you see in the market, on the roads, how many scooters you see and how many motorcycles you see. This is thinking for the future, changing your strategies as time passes. And if you want to stay in the same old pattern, you may not be successful. Have you seen an ambassador car nowadays? Very few. Ambassador car could not come up with new ventures, new models, new strategies to keep themselves in market. So I can't say that they have failed, but yes, once Ambassador were the only car available in the country, it was having a competition from Standard Motors or Fiat. Now you can't see Fiat in the road, you can't see Standard Motors in the road. Now what you see is a few ambassadors and rest you know. So what went wrong there? This entrepreneurship is not just to start a unit and run it. You should continuously try to change yourself. Then only it will work out. Depend because ultimately speaking, any product or any service that you are doing, it is for the public. And public is none else than a customer. Customers' tastes do change. So when the customers' views are changing, you have to change the product accordingly so that you can survive. So entrepreneurship does not necessarily mean that you are starting something. It should also mean that it has to continuously update it. Thank you very much for listening. We will continue